Yo, your dick mad beefy, bro.
Malignant is the newest film from James Wan, and a return to the horror genre for him. The last horror movie he directed was The Conjuring 2 back in 2016. Since then, he's been busy with Aquaman, and what a way to get back into the genre. Okay, so the story goes, a woman named Madison is living with her piece of shit husband. After he knocks her around one night, this dark shadowy figure comes to their home and kills him and attacks her. Sometime later, while the police are looking into it, she starts having these paranormal happenings. So she locks herself in her house and tries to keep this shadowy figure out. And then she starts having these strange visions of this figure killing people. Now that's the basic setup and premise, but let me tell you, this movie goes places I didn't expect it to, and it really isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's a pretty difficult movie to describe without spoiling anything, but I'll give it a shot. So it's basically a mixture of three different genres. You get a slower paced paranormal ghost movie that then transitions into a mystery investigative thriller, and then it becomes a straight up slasher at the end, with over the top blood and gore. Honestly, things just get more wild and weird as you watch it, especially the final act. It's just fucking crazy. It just honestly really surprised me with the direction that it went. It gets pretty ridiculous, but I think in the best way. I honestly really enjoyed it, mainly because the way the story is told and how it plays with your expectations. The beginning of the movie is what you expect from James Wan. It feels like a haunted house or ghost movie, similar to The Conjuring and Insidious. But that was done intentionally to lure you in while it feeds you more and more info, creating a mystery aspect to it, before it completely shifts into a slasher. It took what you thought the movie was gonna be, then changed it as the movie continued. It definitely makes the movie feel unique, and honestly I appreciate the bait and switch. Now, as for the story, more and more details are revealed about the main character and the shadowy figure, and you'll hit a point where you'll somewhat see where the story is going, and then not long after you'll see that you weren't exactly wrong. If you've seen the trailers, then you know this figure's name is Gabriel, and he's connected to the main character in some way. He's presented as an imaginary friend, but there are a series of twists that do change what you thought he was gonna be, but the movie does telegraph it a few times, so that you kind of figure it out before it's officially revealed. But I will admit that the movie itself puts an interesting enough twist on that reveal, so it's still kind of shocking, even though you had a rough idea of where it was gonna go. So even though part of the story was a little predictable, I still think it was fine. It remained interesting enough to keep me watching, and I'm more so impressed with the way the story was told, as being presented as a paranormal ghost story, before slowly changing. Now visually, everything looks great. Not just with the awesome cinematography and camera work that James Wan's movies are known for, but there are a lot of reds and blues used throughout, and it gives the movie a very distinct look. Also, the special effects team who worked on Aquaman were involved in the project here too. And you can see that in these scenes where the world melts away and transforms around the main character. It happens a few times and it's really cool to see. So visually, I really dig this movie. I think it looks awesome. The soundtrack is pretty cool too. There's this recurring theme that plays and it's honestly pretty catchy. Although there were a few times where it was just generic ghost movie music, with loud strings playing in the background when something appeared on screen. But overall, the score was good. Now, as for the acting, I'm a bit mixed on it. I think the main character was fine, but I think that's because she's elevated by the fact that everyone else around her isn't that great. The writing here is pretty painful at times. Characters will just dump awkward lines of exposition and it doesn't feel natural. And the whole time, I was just thinking that the writing was rough. Like it was literally a rough draft and they never revised it. But by the end of the movie, I realized that it was going for a more campy and cheesy feel, because things start to get ridiculously over the top towards the end. So I believe the goal was to have the movie and the characters feel somewhat campy. But the issue is, most of the dialogue doesn't have enough charm to it to give off the cheesy feel, and instead comes off as just bad writing. I believe that was the intent, but the execution just wasn't there. So there are times where it does feel really campy and cheesy, but there are times where it just feels plain bad. Although the mystery around Madison and Gabriel remains interesting throughout, and I got more into it as the movie went on. So the lead was fine, just everyone else around her wasn't memorable. So all in all, I greatly enjoyed this movie. It really subverted my expectations. It came out to be something unique. It's really an insane movie with how slowly it shifts genres until becoming completely over the top and fun at the end. And the visuals is great. I like the look of the movie and there's some really creative shots. Although I don't feel like this movie will be for everyone, because some people who expected a haunted house or ghost movie might be disappointed, because it moves away from that as it progresses. And when you really break it down, the haunted house section isn't the strongest part of the movie. You'll get some interesting visuals, but it's not as scary as the stuff you've seen in his Conjuring or Insidious movies. It's not until 30 to 40 minutes in where the movie starts to evolve and becoming much more interesting. And the characters aren't really that special, and the writing makes it hard to get behind them. This is definitely one of James Wan's more interesting movies, and I like that he came back to the genre after 5 years and gave us something that we thought was going to be familiar, but instead comes out to be fresh and unique. Really thinking about it, this movie combines different aspects of Wan's career. You got the paranormal stuff like in his Conjuring and Insidious movies, the blood and gore from his Saw movie, and slick stylized action from Aquaman and Furious 7. It's like he wanted to take what he learned from working on all these different types of movies and combine them into one. I think this movie has the making of a cult classic and will grow to be more appreciated as time goes on and it reaches more and more people. I already can't wait to get it on Blu-ray to see the behind the scenes footage, because I'm curious to learn more about how they pulled off several of these scenes. I actually plan to rewatch it soon, because the twist reveals several things that make some little details make more sense. Without spoiling anything, it explains why Gabriel's character moves around all contorted, as well as the title of the movie itself. Don't look it up now. I want you to watch the movie first, then I want you to go ahead and look up the definition of malignant. There's a few different definitions that you'll find, and you see that they relate to the movie very well. So is this James Wan's best work? I don't think so, but it's definitely his most unique, and one of his most creative. I recommend you guys check it out because I had a blast watching it. And of course, I asked you guys, what did you think of *Malignant*? And I'm happy to see that many of you guys felt the same way I did. You were able to pick up on what the movie was doing and just go with it. And that's probably the best way to view this movie. Just lean into the insanity. And I want you to go ahead, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, go and drop a like on it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.
What in fuck's name are you doing?